If you're interested in mastering your emotions, welcome back to my series answering the most frequently asked questions about healthy emotions. Today, we're going to dive into question number 8. How do I stop over preparing or rehearsing conversations in my head? If you've ever found yourself playing words or imagining responses or worrying about what someone might think before a conversation, this episode is for you. As always, if you want to keep up with this series, I'd really appreciate it if you like this video and subscribed. That way, you'll get notified whenever new videos are uploaded so you can continue building emotional awareness and resilience with each episode. I've struggled with this pattern myself for years, and I would replay conversations over and over, imagining the perfect thing to say, the ideal tone, the safest response. And I told myself I was being responsible or preparing for success, but what it really did was create tension, anxiety, and exhaustion before anything even happened. My nervous system learned that thinking it all through could prevent embarrassment, rejection, or conflict. And that rehearsal became automatic. And I didn't even notice I was doing it until I felt drained. And understanding that this habit isn't laziness or overthinking, but a survival strategy changed everything for me. Once I realized it was my nervous system's way of protecting me, I could start redirecting the energy instead of being trapped by it. And I learned that presence in the moment, not mental rehearsals, creates confidence and clarity in conversation. Over preparing or rehearsing in your head might feel like control, but it actually undermines your confidence and presence. Constantly imagining what could happen can make conversations feel heavier and more stressful and less authentic. You may speak cautiously or over explain because your mind has already built a script of what might go wrong. It's important to answer this question because it reveals how your thoughts and nervous system responses are affecting your behavior and relationships. Learning to let go of mental rehearsals allows you to respond naturally and maintain clarity and show up without anxiety controlling your interactions. It also frees emotional energy that otherwise stuck in endless loops, giving you space to focus on listening and understanding and connecting in the moment. So, why do you over prepare or rehearse conversations in your head? Well, often it's about trying to maintain control. You want to avoid embarrassment, conflict, or being misunderstood, and your mind thinks it can prevent negative outcomes by running every single scenario. The issue with this is that the habit creates a mental exhaustion and it makes you less present and more prepared. Your nervous system is trying to protect you, but the strategy ends up increasing anxiety rather than reducing it. This pattern reinforces doubt and reduces your confidence in speaking spontaneously. You might notice that even simple conversations feel heavy or risky because your mind has already anticipated every possible mistake. And that anticipation is exhausting and often unnecessary. And you may also find yourself over explaining or over clarifying when the moment comes because your brain rehearsed it all. This cycle keeps you mentally and emotionally stuck, feeling like you need a script for life. Another key factor is the desire to control how others perceive you. You may worry about judgment, misinterpretation, or disappointing someone else. And the more you try to control others' reactions in your mind, the less energy you have for your own clarity. You might rehearse phrases, tones, or arguments repeatedly, thinking it will protect you. But in reality, you're training your brain to focus on the other person's perspective instead of your own. That constant projection keeps you anxious and reactive and self conscious. And the shift starts with remembering that other people's reactions are not something you can control. You can communicate clearly, but their perception isn't your responsibility. Mental rehearsals gives the illusion of safety, but it doesn't prevent uncertainty. It just amplifies self-doubt and mental strain. And over time, this habit can erode your confidence, making it harder to trust yourself in conversations. One practical tool is setting aside a worry time each day. So pick 10 to 15-minute window to intentionally think through any upcoming conversations or concerns. And during that time, allow yourself to explore your thoughts fully without judgment. Once that time is up, intentionally shift your focus back to the present and the tasks at hand. And so this creates a boundary for your mind instead of letting it run on autopilot all day. Over time, your brain learns that worry has a container, which reduces constant rehearsal outside that space. And you might notice your nervous system becomes calmer and you start approaching interactions more spontaneously. It's a simple yet powerful way to take control of the habit without suppressing your thoughts. Journaling can also help break this cycle. So, by writing down the scenarios you're replaying and noticing what you're most worried about, you want to ask yourself whether thinking about it is helping you move forward or just creating stress. Putting thoughts on paper externalizes them and creates distance, allowing you to notice patterns instead of being consumed by them. And you may see that most of the imagined worst case scenarios never happen. Journaling also helps you identify reoccurring triggers like certain people, topics, or environments that spark mental rehearsals. And once you notice these patterns, you can experiment with small shifts such as changing surroundings, taking a walk before a conversation, or practicing mindfulness techniques. Habits retrain your nervous system to respond calmly instead of rehearsing endlessly. This reduces the grip that mental scripts have on your behavior. Another important piece is noticing how your body reacts while rehearsing conversations. Often you'll feel tension in your chest, tightness in your shoulders, or a knot in your stomach as you run through scenarios. These physical sensations are signals that your nervous system is on high alert, anticipating danger that isn't actually present. By tuning into these sensations, you can start separating the mental chatter from your actual experience in the moment. So, by pausing to breathe and acknowledge the physical tension, it gives your body a chance to release it before the conversation even happens. And this practice teaches your nervous system that anticipation doesn't need to escalate into stress. And you train yourself to respond from your body's grounded state rather than the anxious loops in your head. And you start to notice that when you slow down and tune in, clarity and confidence arise naturally. And this makes interactions feel lighter and more authentic without the constant pre planning. Another factor is how over prepping can actually limit your creativity and problem solving in the moment. When your mind is locked in rehearsed scripts, it becomes harder to notice new information or opportunities that arise during a real conversation. You might miss cues, subtle changes in tone, or important details because your attention is stuck on what you planned to say. But by letting go of rigid scripts, you allow your intuition and natural judgment to guide your responses. This also strengthens your ability to think on your feet, adapt to unexpected situations, and respond in ways that feel authentic rather than forced. And you'll notice that your interactions are more dynamic, collaborative, and engaging. Rehearsing conversations creates a false sense of control, but presence creates real effectiveness. This shift not only improves communication, but it also boosts your confidence into trusting yourself in any scenario. It's about noticing when your brain is trying to control an outcome that isn't yours to manage. With consistent practice, journaling, shifting your environment, noticing your body, practicing presence, and scheduling a worry time, you weaken the rehearsal habit and reclaim your mental space. And you start understanding that uncertainty is survivable, and mistakes aren't catastrophic, and your instincts are reliable. The nervous system gradually stops reacting as if every conversation is a threat. And confidence grows from action, not rehearsal. You begin to show up fully without being trapped in your head. In the moment, you realize your mind doesn't need to script every word. You create freedom, clarity, and calm in your interactions. To support you in building emotional awareness, I've created a free resource called the Emotional Breakthrough Guide, and I'd love to share it with you today. Inside the Emotional Breakthrough Guide, you'll find step by step exercises that help you notice your personal triggers, reflect on emotional patterns behind them, and begin responding in healthier ways. These exercises are designed to fit into your everyday life, so you can start building emotional awareness and control immediately. You can get your free Emotional Breakthrough Guide right now. To do that, you want to click the link in the description below and sign up. And then once you do, you'll receive instant access to the guide so you can begin using it immediately. You can move through it at your own pace and start noticing small but meaningful changes in how we cope emotionally. If this video helped you, I'd really appreciate it if you liked this video, subscribed, and turned on your notifications. That way, you'll be notified of the next video in this 23-part series on healthy emotions, where we continue building the awareness and skills you need for long-term emotional health. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.